anyone who has owned or bought or sold homes over many times over different markets over several years, you're going to understand that something 23 to 28 days on your average is not a long time. Hey guys, this is Erin. If this is your first time to our channel and you want to learn everything there is to know about living in Richmond, Virginia, hit that like button, click subscribe, and click that little bell so you're notified every time we release a new video. Hey, I'm Erin Melton. Welcome to living in Richmond, Virginia. I want to make sure you're always being kept up to date of exactly how things are actually in the housing market, because housing markets are so localized, for you to get a true idea of what things are looking like year to year in our area. So how about an idea of what things are looking at the end of Q1 for the Richmond area? For perspective, always good to have that. Let's see how it is looking US-wise. And again, we're talking end of Q1. New single-family homes sales are up by comparison to February of this year by 1.8%. Remember, this is nationwide. Compared to last year, we definitely have seen a fewer number of homes that have sold this year. Approximately 500,000 new homes on the market, which is an 8.9 month supply based on current pricing and current pacing. That is, so you have an idea right now for Richmond is still well below what the nationwide averages are for months of supply. Now that you have an idea there, let's talk right about the Richmond area, comparing where things were looking from March of last year in 2024 to where they're looking in March of 2025. New listings, they have increased by 5.7%. Hallelujah! We are so glad to actually have more inventory that gives our buyers and you who are looking to move into the Richmond area or possibly consider more choices. We want you to have more choices. People might think, what agent's going to want you to have more choices? We want to put you in the car and go, hey, better make a decision right now because 5 other people are lined up. We don't actually want that for you. We want to make sure you have choices, and you do have them. The perfect spots, all the places where people actually need their home, the mid to upper tiered price range homes have a significant listing growth. Very important for you guys that are looking for homes in the area. Single family homes, the total listings have increased by 4.9%. I'm going to give you some ideas of what to expect in that mid to higher range. Salisbury, very popular neighborhood in the Midlothian area. We call it Area 64 for MLS purposes, if you ever hear me talking the old lingo, and you will. 2303 Bream Drive, that one was listed at $1.995 million. Now, the best thing about Salisbury that I always tell my friends and anyone that listens to any of my videos and says, I think this is the neighborhood for me. If you are looking for a neighborhood that is well-established, well-renowned, close to everything, but has that very country club feel without being gated, Salisbury is going to be a great one for you. And if you're not looking for a cookie cutter neighborhood, this is a perfect one. Why I love this house so much and why it gives you a really good idea of what to expect in this price point for Salisbury is it is on the water. Salisbury, they even have lifeguards during the summer. That is a really fun thing. Always doing great events. Again, super convenient and lots of history there. Many people that grew up there may have moved away, come back, and have raised families there, or come back or move down the street. Very, very common. This one is 7,000 square feet, so this is on the larger end. This is definitely the great neighborhood for if you have a lot of people visiting, if you like to host a lot of different events, if you are big on the holidays. Great driveway, my favorite kind that you can come in from several different reasons, has the big circle in the front, very stately. For this particular neighborhood. 6 bedrooms, 7 baths. It was built in '87 in a great sized lot. Good sized lots all the way. Nice finished basement as well, and it has a 3-car garage, so giving you kind of an idea. Our pending overall sales for the end of Q1 in the Richmond area, they are up by 1.7%. The 500,000K plus homes have saw the strongest demand, 18% from last year. Do notice that our larger homes are sitting on the market about 25% longer. This was as of the end of Q1. Pivot a little bit further into this year in 2025, we are definitely seeing the higher price points in certain areas stay on the market a little bit longer because there's more inventory. That is to your advantage as buyers. It actually is to your advantage as sellers as well. Here's another great prime example, and this is where I'm talking about that is very localized. You want to make sure you get in touch with a great realtor to give you a true perspective of what to expect in each area and how things are looking quarter to quarter, because it changes. 2715 East Grace in Richmond was $1.25 million, and that was on the market for only 6 days. 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 3,100 square feet. This one was built in 1889. I love the old classical homes, but it was renovated in 95. And that gives you a really good idea of what to expect there and seeing how short that amount of time is. So that's really key more to what we expected during the COVID years, where we are seeing a move away from that. If you are, and again, that is located in the Churchill neighborhood, great backyard with an awesome patio. I love that neighborhood. Churchill has really grown by leaps and bounds. It actually is an area though, be prepared that we're seeing longer days on market. That's awesome for you, for people that are like, hey, I can't get anything to stick around. The median sales price is up by 6.7%. So let's give you a good idea. Built in 2004, we're definitely seeing the Hanover property stay on the market much, much longer. That is to everyone's advantage that's been looking over there for a couple of years and hasn't been able to find something they want. If you've been looking for land, if you've been looking for larger homes, this is the time to get in your market, and that continues on into 2025. This one's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, and it's about 3,200 square feet. Nice big lot, and it's in Pamunkey Estates. We don't see things come up in this neighborhood a ton, but this does give you an idea of what to expect. And we were talking about this before, things are staying on the market just a little bit longer, you know, overall averaging from 23 days to 28 days. Anyone who has owned or bought or sold homes over many times over different markets over several years, you're going to understand that something 23 to 28 days on your average is not a long time. However, for the Richmond area and how things have been for the past several years since COVID and in many parts of the country, this may feel like a long time. This is also an opportunity for buyers to find a great deal. I'm not talking about that you're going to get a house for nothing, but you're going to find a bigger deal. So these 500+ K homes are staying on the market a little bit longer. I'll give you a little bit of an example. 3394 Wood Valley Road in Mechanicsville. That was on the market for 43 days. Again, traditionally over several years, that's not going to seem like a lot. I actually was sitting down with some people that were talking about the very first home they sold and how long it had been on. Heck, the house I own now, and we bought it in 2016. And the years before weren't horrible years, but my house had been on the market for a year before we bought it. They did some renovations, they changed the price, they put it on, and wasn't really even looking in this area. We found it though, and it was the place for us. So that gives you kind of an idea. So this one was at 1.295 million. Again, this gives you a little bit idea of what to expect over in the Mechanicsville and Hanover area. Another thing that we're noticing that's a little bit of shift of how it's been in the past few years, at least at the end of Q1 in the Richmond area, is that people aren't necessarily getting exactly what they're asking price, and particularly on the higher end homes in certain areas, they are holding value better. Let me give you kind of an example of that. So 569 Raleigh Manor Road in Henrico, the original price was at 1.299 million. It closed at 1.227, 500 million. Not bad, not too far off. Somebody probably feels like they got a great deal. Again, these upper end homes, you're going to feel like you have a little bit more of a stretch. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 2,800 on the square, 3,800 in square footage. Built in 2013, 0.42 on the acreage. So be prepared to see a little bit more of negotiation. Here's a big one that I always try to keep my friends, my past clients, my current clients up to date to have a really good feel of what kind of market we're in. So let's do a little bit of a game, a little bit of a trivia. If I were pulling out something from a basket. Erin, what do people mean when they're talking about months of supply? Months of supply has to do with how many months would it take to sell everything that's on the market right now in Richmond without anything else coming on. Where we have been has been in a severe seller's market, and that's because inventory has been so incredibly low since COVID and during the post-COVID years. And we're finally seeing that uptick in things. So the market is not crashing. The sky is not falling, and I can speak from experience because I've been doing this for 24 years. I have seen all of the things. However, it is going to feel a little bit more like the market is different, because it is. Because the supply has remained flat at about 1.6 months overall. The single family homes tightened to about 1.4, so still extremely low, just not as low as it has been. Give you a good idea. 11501 Rolling Leaf Lane in Glen Allen. That one is listed at 1.5 million. It was built in 2018 in a really popular neighborhood. Emersonville subdivision has land, which is hard to find in Glen Allen. You'll notice that these homes are staying on a little bit longer, and in certain areas we're seeing more of those homes actually pop up, which I'm really glad to report. There you have it, the end of Q1 market update for the Richmond area. I hope you have found this informative. Make sure if you have any general questions of how things are looking in comparison to 2025 to maybe things of last year, comment below and I'll be happy to set up a time to chat with you, or who knows, I might make a whole new video for you. Keep on tuning in because I'll be giving you updates throughout the year. I'm Erin Melton, this is Living in Richmond, Virginia, and remember, leave everything better. Once again, if this is your first time to our channel and you want to learn everything there is to know about living in Richmond, Virginia, tap that like button, hit subscribe, and click that little bell so you're notified every time we release a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and always remember, leave everything better.